Lorrie Boyer visited with Naomi Loomis out at Circle L Ranch near Alliance, Nebraska, affected by Nebraska's largest fire on record, the Morrill Fire, to talk about the mental and emotional aftermath of the fire, including the PTSD that she and her neighbors are still working through, and what recovery looks like on the land and in their lives.
Thanks for having me out today to share more of your story.
Yes, you're welcome anytime.
Our original interview got a lot of traction and a lot of comments, and I'm really sorry that you have gone through this. And so that's kind of what we're here today, some of the post-fire things. And one of the things that I have really learned from you just in a very short amount of time that I'm going to talk to you today, the mental side of this, the PTSD that you and your neighbors are going through. Through coping.
Oh man, PTSD, right? My dad was a Vietnam vet and he always said, Naomi, I have PTSD. And I knew what it was, right? But I didn't really comprehend exactly what he meant by that. And I know that this is a little bit different story than like a Vietnam hero, but just PTSD is PTSD across the board. And so, yeah, it's something that we maybe forget to talk about. We were raised to be tough, but it's real. It's the real feeling. And for sure, we are not away from that.
You went through trauma, and I don't have the camera on it, but when it starts blowing up some of the alkaline dust and it looks white, it really does look like smoke. So you tend to get that.
Your heart starts going. You're like, all right, we got to call the neighbors. And you can see, I know the camera can't necessarily see what we're seeing, but it's like it's an alkali lake, so dry when the wind starts to blow and it perks you right up and you're like, but if you wait a little bit, then as you see, it's kind of disappearing. So then that's a good thing.
Well, as we talk about post fire, things are starting to look a little green. How long would you say it's going to be before you can even think about putting cattle back out on the pastures and out on the range?
So I actually attended a Nebraska extension meeting the other night in Oshkosh, and where they were talking about some extension work that has been done, like research on the Nebraska sandhills. And they're at 1 to 2 years, depending on, there's lots of different things like moisture and wind and stuff like that. But Circle L, my husband and I, is about 365 days in some kind of a confinement for our cows, just, to give these breaks. And again, it depends on the moisture. The camera can't see it right now, but if you kind of look out, there is green coming. Those meadows
Yeah.
are greening up. I still feel a little bit like we're still 365 days at least out.
For Naomi Loomis and countless ranching families across Nebraska's sandhills, recovery from the Morrill Fire is measured not just in regrown grass and restocked pastures, but in the quiet work of healing that happens long after the flames are out. Their resilience in the lands continues.